we'll be, I think we'll be all right.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all good.
I thought she was fine.
Trouble signing on, I'm working on it. What can you do to help? It's not in holding pattern or anything, right? Ann's got trouble signing on. I need ID and password. I'll send her that.
We're recording, we're live, whenever you're ready.
How much more to fill up with our depository?
Did you just get that text from Ann?
Yeah, I just
went
sent her
down
control.
before it came up here.
I sent her the ID and password.
There's a lot of people. That's all.
There was probably, we probably had over 1,000 truckloads. That was steady.
Need a big front end loader now to pile it up.
Yeah.
Backhoe just didn't handle it. It's a huge pile. So we're gonna burn it. We're gonna have a marshmallow roast. Man, anybody wants free firewood, there's some big stuff down there.
Well, my son-in-law's got,
Oh, I think it's bigger than that.
as far as I can reach, but.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, we're recording.
They got it stripped off now.
Looks like Ann has joined us. It looks like everybody's here. We good, Clark?
Uh-huh.
All right, let's call to order the regular meeting of the Pleasant Beach City Council this September 8th, 2020. Welcome, everyone. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance and the opening prayer reading or expression of thought by Councilmember Gibson.
Please repeat the Pledge of Allegiance after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America,
and
and
to
to
the
the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all.
Our Heavenly Father, we're indeed thankful for this opportunity we have to meet together. And we're thankful that we're meeting today in this favorable land and favorable conditions. Father, we've had quite a windstorm and a lot of people are in a trial right now. We ask that thy spirit with them. We're thankful for the friendship in the neighborhood as they've gathered around and rallied around each other. We're thankful for that spirit of oneness and of concern for our neighbors. We ask that people will continue to be protected, be it the first responders, the police and fire department, as they're asked to handle and do those things that they do, that they'll also be safe and protected. Help us to be able to restore the power and those things. We're thankful for the Public Works Department and all the hard work that they've done as well. Father, as we discuss things tonight, we ask that thy spirit with us and can help us to all be safe and protected this day. And we're thankful for all we have. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Steve. All right, the next is to read the electronic meeting determination for conducting a meeting without an anchor location. I don't believe I need to read that today because we do have an anchor location. We do have 4 council members here, and Ann is joining us remotely from her home. For those that can't see, Steve's kind of off camera here. So we have Steve and Kevin in with me. We'll move on to declaration of conflicts of interest. Does anybody have a declaration of conflict of interest? If you read the agenda and anything to declare. Seeing none, we'll move to comments or questions for the mayor and council from the public. Is there anybody, a member of the public, that wishes to address the council? It's probably me.
No, but that is your car alarm, boss.
I felt the remote in my pocket.
I'm showing 2 people participating, one of which presumably is me and the other is presumably Lori. And no one has commented yet.
All right, we'll move on. Consent items. Minutes of August 18th and 2020 and August 25th, 2020. And the closed minutes of April 28th, 2020, May 12th, 2020, June 23rd, 2020. 2 sets, July 7th, 2020, 2 sets, July 28th, 2020, August 11th, 2022 sets, and August 25th, 2022 sets. Hopefully you had a chance to come in and the city and review those. Any questions, comments, or changes that need to be made? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mayor, I'll make that motion. We approve the consent items as stated.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Gibson, second by Bailey. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Business items. Public hearing, discussion, and possible action to consider amending the 2020-2021 fiscal year budget. I'd entertain a motion to go into a public hearing for that.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion by Bailey, second by Arrington to go into a public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're in a public hearing. I believe this is just a housekeeping item because we kind of entered it wrong. We got it filled out wrong. So go
Yeah.
ahead, Laurie.
Okay, there's 3 exhibits. The first exhibit A, the last time we met, I don't know what budget I was looking at, but we're just gonna reverse everything I did. So just whatever was on the first one, just get rid of those ones. So those are gonna be deleted off. The next one is the real one, on the equipment replacement fund. And one of them was the dump bed for the 81,000. We budgeted 200,000, we spent 117,000, but we need the bed for 81,000.
And
And
we
then-
did 8,100. That's a carryover from
It's
the
a carry-
previous year.
Yeah, the
So it's
section
not
B.
new money, it's a carryover. Just want to make sure everybody understood that that's a carryover.
Yeah, section B is a carryover. Section C are new items. We have the K9 dog, so we're gonna see if we can't rev up some revenue for 9,500 and then also add an expense for the 9,500 because we do have to pay for it. We do have some dog expenses on the previous dog for some vet bills. And then on the CARE Act funding, we're actually gonna get, we've gotten the second installment and I guess there should be probably another third one. And so that's an amendment on revenue and expenditure. And on equipment, our IT guy has gone through some of our computers and we're trying to get those from Windows 7 to Windows 10. And so we're budgeting a little bit more there. And also on Office 365, we have a meeting this Friday with the mayor and the IT guy just to figure out what we need to do. So that's the worst possible solution or possibilities of the 10,600. So, but anyways, those are the new items. Just to amend the budget.
Okay, and if you remember on the CARES Act, we've, we take most of that money, most of it. Excuse me, and we've given it turned it back to Weaver County, who's been distributing it for us. They did the first round. We gave them 281,000, I believe,
Something
something like that. And they distributed into Pleasant View, businesses in Pleasant View that have been impacted, 330,000. So we actually, our city got $50,000 more than we contributed into the big pool of money. So we did
We got our
very
second
well.
one.
And now we've got our second one, so.
We have to give them-
We'll be doing the same. I don't know if you contribute, if we
Not
send it to the city yet. I don't think they want it quite yet. But anyway, a great thing, great for our businesses. And if you know anybody that has not, that's a business in Pleasant View that has not taken advantage of that, it's open right now for round 2. If you got it in round 1, you don't qualify, but if you didn't apply, you know any businesses that did not apply, they should apply. It's good. It's a good deal. So anyway. I digress. Okay, any questions? Any questions from the public? Bill, on that?
Nothing from the public.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll move that we close the public hearing.
Okay,
I'll second the motion.
motion by Marriott, second by Bailey. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Great. Any questions for Laurie?
Is that a roll call?
The ordinance.
Yeah. Okay, none? Okay, I'd entertain a motion. It's resolution 2020-P. Anybody wants to move to?
I'll make the motion that we amend the 2021 fiscal year budget.
Resolution 2020-P to amend the 2021 fiscal year budget. Motion by Gibson. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Second by Bailey. Roll call vote. Harrington,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Marriott,
Yes.
Fury.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Great, thank you. Next up is, we need that still. Item 2 is discussion and possible action to consider entering into a storm drain and access easement agreement with Donald A. Hales Family Trust and Mark Green in conjunction with Serenity Subdivision located at approximately 650 West and Pleasant View Drive. Jill, thanks for joining us tonight.
Okay, can you hear me? So the agreement is for Serenity's stormwater. We have it going underneath the canal and right now discharging on the Hales property. So that easement, one is protecting the city and and Serenity.
Okay.
For the water to be discharged on a different parcel. However, someone's going to end up buying that parcel, and with that easement, it's securing with the stormwater where the direction is and everything, so that way the city's not liable and Mark Green's covered to have his subdivision still be able to drain the way it's supposed to. So that's what this easement and agreement is. Once it's recorded, it will be Pleasant View's. It would be dedicated to the city, and the hopes is that with everything, we should hopefully be able to record tomorrow, depending on how things go tonight.
Okay, I have a question on the map on page, I guess it's about 6. The map of the Serenity subdivision that shows the easement, it says temporary easement. Is this just a temporary easement or will this be a permanent easement?
That's what Jill was trying to explain, that the easement will be permanent until the subdivision to the south is developed, in which case the easement will be relocated under and along property lines and into storm. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
And this is just going into just an open ditch or something, is that? It's not piped anywhere, it's just going out into a.
So what's it, so it's an easement, but where's the water flowing? Just out in the field, or that's Steve's question?
I don't remember. Jill, where does the water go on that?
Looks like it goes in, yeah.
It's under the canal, so it doesn't go. You know, it says it flowed into one thing, and then we're gonna have it go into another lot, so just, is it a canal, Jill? Or a ditch?
Jill, you still there?
It looks like she's on mute. From my recollection, it goes into the storm drain system in 3200 North.
No,
No?
So what
this is Mark.
it does, the subdivision Serenity, the storm drain goes underneath the canal,
Okay.
and then it disperses on the lot south after the canal.
So the question was,
There's
just
no
put
ditch
that
there.
onto the Hales property?
It does.
Yeah.
And
So are
Karen
we,
aimed that
are we creating, by putting the subdivision there, are we gonna create a lot more runoff? Is that lot gonna be able to handle all that?
Oh, yeah.
right now, as long as it's not developed, it is handling it. But a lot of these lots will become developed,
So,
and then we'll have to deal with, well, they will have to deal with that. That's why the easement's there.
well, so is there a detention
The agreement
basin
that we're
for
looking for.
Serenity?
There is.
And so this is the overflow of
Yes.
the detention.
That's right.
Oh, okay, so like
Where's
100
your
years ago.
Correct.
Isn't that parcel A? Mark, is parcel A the detention basin?
Yes, if
So
I
it's
remember,
The overrun, right?
there's a detention basin on
It
the lot
is.
nearest to the canal.
So is that parcel A?
Okay, parcel A, yes, yes, that is. Okay, so this would be overflow,
Right.
Correct.
and I would say for like 100-year storm event. However, it is 2020, so I would take that into account.
Hush.
So I
100-year storm or 2020.
have a question.
I mean, I don't have a problem, but it just seemed like it was pushing it down the hill, or, you know.
Well, that's because the overflow does, yeah, until that property's developed, the natural runoff was there and we, now that it's being
Well,
developed,
because
it's like,
it was two houses before, now we have all.
but they put in a detention. So supposedly, the only thing that'll go in there is what naturally was going there anyway, but because it's developed, it has to, we have to have information.
I mean,
And the Hells have agreed to enter it in.
I just hope that we.
Is Dana on the line as well?
No,
I don't think
she's
so.
not on the call, I believe.
Is engineering of the detention pond adequate enough to carry what we need? And then.
Yes.
Yes.
Dana has,
on this?
Right.
Dana has looked through the agreement. She's modified it the way the city needs it. She's looked at the detention basin and she's actually approved all of this. If she had any questions or concerns, I would have made sure it was in a staff report for you. But because she has approved everything, that's why we just sent the agreement.
Thank you. All righty. It's really good. Mark, you must have did some.
Mayor.
Can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can
Okay.
you hear me?
Barely.
Okay, I just had a question. Once that parcel is developed, is it then re-recorded under the new property owner's name?
That's right.
Okay,
Once
We are
this
actually
develops,
working-
we'll have to redesign it to account for that development.
okay, but
That
it
would
will be
become-
re-recorded and redesigned.
Right.
They might move it. They might, depending on how they develop that piece of property.
And I just hope we're not stuck with.
Yeah, you
If you
can.
have that it's flowing into a property, they're gonna buy it, it is, oh my gosh, I've got a.
Well, property owners agreed to it, that's okay, so. When she sells it, it'll run with the sale of the land. So that's what, in fact, that's what I was just about to say, that it was good that the Green family and the Hells family could come together, work on this, come up with a solution. Which is,
We actually have a application in for the property to the south, so we'll see that very soon.
They can
Well-
have a lot of water.
hopefully they'll never have any water.
Yeah, that'd be hope.
Okay,
I'll make a motion, Mr. Mayor, that we approve the storm drain access easement agreement between the Hales Family Trust and Mark Green in
and,
conjunction with Serenity subdivision.
So,
okay, motion by Bailey, second by Gibson, further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Wait, was that an oppose or a?
No, Sarah's having microphone issues.
It's all good.
Okay,
We
so,
we
Was
spread.
it a yes or no?
so is it a yes vote?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Thank you. Motion carries. Item 3, discussion and possible action to consider entering into an agreement with Connection Publishing for the official magazine of Pleasantview City. It's got me as the presenter. I was hoping that the Spelts would be, I don't see him on here. Well, I'll present what I know. They approached the city and said that because we're so small, and I think I mentioned this, but because we're so small, they can't afford to do us, to rebrand us. Sounds to me like, based on the letter they published, that if we choose not to participate, they'll go ahead and just send our residents the North Ogden magazine. And which, you know, whatever. They asked for, it says it costs about $1,200 to change it over to the Pleasant View magazine a month. They said they would do it to us for about $800. They sent a contract. I expressed some concerns with the contract to them, asking what, could we participate with it like we're doing? And just as us paying our way for our content, as opposed to making an official magazine. We just publish for what, pay for what we publish type of deal. And it would still be an unofficial magazine, similar to what it's doing now. They said that would certainly be a possibility. If you do the math, we're talking about 7 cents per resident per month. So a family of 5 would be about 35 cents to get that magazine. I know Sarah, 2 things. Number one, she put together a poll. I'm a little concerned with it only because it said it's a city newsletter resident survey, which is great, but it made it sound like it was put out by the Pleasant View City, which a couple of council members have expressed some concern that they never approved it. I never approved it. They'll never approve it. So we got to be careful when you put anything, when any member of the council puts anything out, make sure you're representing the entire council. Okay. I try to do that whenever I do anything. If there's any question, I like to bring it to the council myself. So just make sure that you do that. Second is the survey itself. I'm not sure, I'm not an expert in surveys, but I'm not sure of the true validity of the survey because you're asking using electronic means, who wants to use electronic means versus printed media in a nutshell. I know it's a little more detailed, a little more complex than that, but in a nutshell. So I'm here to represent people that are 60 and over. And I just want to say I get a lot of feedback from the older population about this magazine. And for 7 cents a month, I would hate to disenfranchise anybody, let alone our older population, our older residents who they love this kind of stuff. They love the stories. It gives them something to do for their day. They actually look forward to this magazine. And like I said, for 7 cents a month, I would hate to disenfranchise anybody, let alone our older population. Some of them use Facebook. Some of them have Facebook accounts, but they don't know how to use them. They just get out and surf on them. A lot of them don't even know what Facebook is, let alone use it. So it's an interesting thing. I don't know exactly where to go from here. I don't know. I have a couple of concerns and a couple of ideas. One would be not do anything right now, but to sit down with, since they're going to send out, if we don't do anything and they're going to send out the North Avenue Connection magazine to all our residents, I would like to maybe sit down. I had a meeting scheduled with the mayor and then the city administrator of North Ogden today at lunch, but because of obvious problems we had today, they canceled that meeting. So I would like to sit down with them and see what their future of the magazine is, where they see it going. Because if they're going to be pushing it into our community anyway, I'd like to know a little bit more of what's going on there. And to see, because if they decide to stop doing it, it's probably, we're making a decision that's probably pointless to make right now anyway. I haven't talked to Ryan. I was hoping, like I said, I was hoping he'd be here. The Spelts would be on today to see what they thought about that. Anyway, I just want to, I just like to see a little more clarity in this whole thing. Steve.
Well, excuse me, you're done.
Yeah, you're good.
So,
I'm rambling.
no, you're fine. A couple things, and we had this discussion probably 3 or 4 years ago, the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Now, personally, when I get the magazine, I look at your article. That's what I look at. And I want to see what the mayor has to say. But that's about it for me personally. If the older people like you talked about, they're still, from what I understand from these stuff, they're still gonna do, if we don't do it, they'll just send the North Ogden one over, which the people will still get that other content that we would have no say over anyway.
Right.
Okay. Now I have talked a lot to Heather, and if you'll notice in your packet, I just got the Ogden City newsletter that comes with their water bill each month. And it's on the last page, just before the Laurie's ABC thing here. Now, this is a nice color piece. And I talked to Heather and I said, what would it cost? Or how much? Because cost is one thing, Heather's time is another.
Yeah, that's more,
Okay.
like the 7 cents is one thing, but
And so I asked, what did you do? And so she, for this last newsletter, there wasn't a lot of stuff. It was about a half hour that she said she put in to putting it on the water bill. So I think that we could do a little, because there's a lot of information in this Ogden City thing if we change formats a little bit. And I'm not here to say what format we need to change it to, but we are already sending a letter to every resident of the city right now with our water bill, and that will not change. We'll still be sending out the water bill. Heather also found out that it's costing us more money to put it on the back of the water bill versus having a single page. And I would like to look at it to see what that would do, because we'd have total control over that. Everybody gets a water bill. If they're not getting a water bill, we're sending it out to all the homeowner associations. We're sending an individual letter to all those, so they do get that newsletter. Most of the time it's a 1 page. And there's only twice that we had more than 1 page, and that was generally for Founders Day, that we had a much bigger page. So she's taken it, she did a wonderful job. So I'd like to publicly thank Heather for all her work in putting the little things together. So I would vote for not having the official publication, because we have control over our newsletter, our content, and I don't want to pay to have a private magazine, because all those other things that the people are looking at are very founded. There's a lot of fun things in there, a lot of histories, a lot of different things, because they're making money selling advertising to put that stuff in for that magazine. Dentist office, lawn and garden, whatever it might be, they're having it. And I wish them every success. And if they want to still have something from the mayor in it, I think that's a wonderful thing, and that will help sell their product if there is something from the mayor in it. If not, I would encourage the mayor to have that same article, because most of the time, all the time, I really enjoy that article. And that should be in our newsletter, because sometimes that magazine will go right in the trash, which, yeah, for a younger guy, that's it. Anyway, that's all I have to say. So I would say, my motion would be to see what we can do with our own newsletter, maybe update it just a little bit, get some sort of a, again, if you're looking at the city, and I don't want to do that, but there's a lot of stuff in there in that 2 pages. I think the format, we can change that. I think once we got that format, it'd be very easy for Heather to put that in, as long as everybody, all the different department heads put something in there and make sure it goes, because whether we have an official magazine, that's still gonna have to be put in to make it worth anything, other than the mayor's piece, I'll have to say.
did everybody get a chance to look at the Ogden?
Yes.
Okay. There is a little bit of irony there, that picked that one, because Ogden has the Ogden Connection magazine.
I had a couple
That
things.
goes to all of Ogden residents too, under Ogden, not North Ogden, but Ogden Connection. So they are one of the cities that do participate with the Connection magazine. Okay. Somebody
Can
else
you
have
hear me?
comment? Sarah?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to clarify for the record, I can see why you thought that I put that out as an official city question, but I didn't. I put it on the Pleasant View City Residents Facebook page myself, not on the city's Facebook page. And it was a question, I put it general of, I just have a question. And if you guys could fill out the survey with an agenda item that was coming up. And so I realize I'm a city council member, but it was not from the city's Facebook page. It was not as an official representative. It was a question. And I know that that is skewed towards people who deal with social media. I think I made that clear in the survey results that obviously it was skewed to people who use social media. And I realized that, you know, that was well known. I just want to clarify that. If in the future, anytime I do something as a private resident, if you want me to check with all of you, absolutely I will. But that was just a question that I put out for my own research. I was interested to know, but just want that point of clarification. And and you're right, people do like the stories in the magazine, absolutely. And I wish that your mayor's message was already in our newsletter, and I think that that would be great. But when I asked people, even outside of Facebook, who don't do Facebook, the overwhelming consensus was, just do the newsletter, send it to everybody. Don't pay for the magazine. We don't want to pay for advertisements for a for-profit entity. And that was their concern. And so I realized that some other cities do that, whether or not I believe that that's ethical in a way. I would kind of disagree in that regard, but in my thoughts are the city's a nonprofit organization. We're not in the business of subsidizing or supporting any certain entity in particular. And so I would just like to keep that separation and be able to publish our content without having other people advertise and make profits off of that. So, and I do like Steve's suggestion with this newsletter from Ogden City. I think, you know, we can only improve on what we do. I think it would be great. Anyway, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Can you still hear me? Okay. Anyway, those are my 2 cents.
I will say what I just said to the other council members. I asked the question about this. I asked the question of Laurie if we do our own printing. She said, no, we send it to Watkins. And my comment was, aren't we subsidizing somebody?
No, because they're not putting advertisements in their newsletter for other people.
We're not paying it for advertisements either. So
We're just using like a print
It's a moot
service,
point.
just like Quality Quick Print. They're not putting advertisements for other businesses and making a profit off of it.
So if anybody else, if not,
Comments, please.
go ahead.
So in my mind, I'm just asking myself, what do we want to accomplish here? What are we trying to accomplish? What's the end goal? For me, the end goal is to communicate with the residents what's going on. Communicate maybe history pieces, communicate what the mayor wants to say, what the chief wants to say, what the public works wants to say. For me, it's communication. That's what we're trying to accomplish. I ended up talking to 8 people who were 60 and older because I wanted to know what they thought. And so I called them and talked to each one of them. Of the 8 I talked to, only 1 wanted to keep it. The rest said they just kind of, a lot of them just pitch in the trash or whatever. They said if I do like thumb through it, I usually look at like the history page or maybe some of the events. So basically what I'm saying is everything that they said they were looking at, I feel like we could provide in the city newsletter. I also asked them if they read their city newsletter when it came with the bill. Every one of them read the newsletter that came with the bill. So for me, I think if we just beef up our own city newsletter and even add a recipe or 2. No, that was just one person. They liked the recipes. I feel like we could handle it in-house. That's my opinion.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. You're all absolutely right about that. Okay, I just want to know who's going to do it all. If are we volunteering Heather to do it, or what? Who's going to beef this up and make it?
Well, I absolutely asked Heather outright. I said, this money is one thing, time is another.
Yeah.
Will you help with that? And she absolutely said she.
I also asked her and she said the same thing.
And I taught time. I said, your time is very valuable. You get to do 100 things. And-
But it's also gonna require submission from each of the department
Yeah.
heads, you know?
Yeah, which she's gonna have to track
But
down.
I
and
don't,
organize and that's okay. I
It
just,
it was not something that she said, oh my gosh, I hate doing this. It just takes me forever to do it. And I think she does a wonderful job with a lot of different things, and I'm not trying to just bombard her either, but I absolutely asked that. And she was
That's my-
willing to do it.
biggest concern is we got somebody who's willing to enter into a contract to take care of it, and we got somebody that we're gonna have do it. So if
Mayor, I have a question for you.
you.
So, yeah, go ahead.
If you've talked to her and she's willing to do it, then Bill, I guess that will be an assignment to give her, but,
Well, she's doing it already.
well, not to this extent that we're talking about. We're talking, I don't know, do we want to just keep the one page? Or do we want,
I think,
Better.
I think if we did a little better on the form, whatever the format is, then it's filling it in.
Yeah.
And then we have to decide that. Again, the Ogden City was only an example. There are many other things. This, this is a Word document, really. And-
Yeah.
And it's
it's a piece of cake?
a piece of cake. Well, it's still not a piece of cake. There's a lot of information.
Well, no, I mean, but once you get, here's the hard part, okay? And let me give you an example real quick, since I used to be the IT director, and people would come and say, I want a web page. Great, what do you want on it? "Well, I don't know, you're the IT director. Well, I don't know what you want on your web page.
Well, so we tell her what
Come
we
up with
want.
something for me.
A mayor's corner, a public works, latest news, whatever. We can tell her, she can do anything that we ask her to do and do it very fast and
She
efficiently.
will do
She's
anything
amazing.
we ask her to do because she's our employee. And so you're absolutely right there.
I will be happy if someone else, maybe Ann or somebody, would you help me put that together, or Sarah, some creative people to put together the format or whatever we want to do, how this look, and then Heather can just fill the format with content.
And I'm
Absolutely.
okay with that. I want to make sure we're not moving a step back.
Dave, I didn't mean to say you're not creative either.
If we're gonna move, we want to move a step forward, not step
Soaking it
backwards.
all in.
Somebody.
Dave has a comment.
Yeah, so I agree with pretty much everything that's been said by the council members. I think we can do something to communicate better with our newsletter, and I really don't think there's that much information that we have to prepare that's not already being prepared. But I guess my number one point here tonight is we're already using the Connections magazine basically as an official Pleasant View City information, and I don't think it's appropriate for us to be using it that way. We have no control over really what's in there and what's said. It's not necessarily timely for our city, and it really, my opinion is the mayor's message and the calendar and anything in there that comes from the city should never be in a private publication. So I think we need to discontinue it immediately based on that. And I've had several phone calls from residents, asking it, basically knowing that this is on the agenda. So that's my opinion. I do think we can do the newsletter similar to what's here that we got from Ogden City. I don't think we need to be elaborate. I think we can give information out. And the other part of that is most of the information we should be giving out should already be on the website. It should already, we need to use the media, the social media and our website much better than just having a paper copy sent out. The paper copy is expensive and it's not as timely as what we have on. Most people are using the internet anyway. So that's my thoughts.
I wish that were true. There are a lot of people that do use it, but I would not say most people, but I wish that were true. Like I said, I'm only here representing the older people who do not use the internet like everybody else does. Now, I am old and I use it extensively, so, but.
Yeah, Mayor, I'm not sure I agree with that. They use the
Part that I'm old.
Yeah,
My 81-year-old mother uses the internet more
No,
than I do.
everyone is using the internet. They're being forced to use the internet for every other application in their lives. And we just need to train them to use it for Pleasant View City. And it's available to them. They're using it already. And the only reason that they have it, they don't, is because it shows up at their doorstep. So
Well, my only concern, like I said, is I do not want to take a step backwards. So if you're willing to assign Heather, if we'll direct Bill to make sure that this gets done with Heather, and that somebody's going to sit down and come up with the content we want. I would like to see more. I would do mayor's message no matter where it gets published, okay? Here, there, it don't matter. I mean, but you know, I spend probably an hour each month. That's not a lot of time, but it's an hour. If somebody else has to spend an hour or 2 hours, or if we beef this up, there's going to be somebody from Public Works that's going to put a message in. Might be somebody from the fire department that's going to put a message in. Bill might put it. I know that in North Ogden's magazine, there's a Ask the City Administrator question type thing. So they email questions in, and he puts a little answer in each newsletter. I mean, there's a lot of things that can be done, but it needs to be done. I don't want to put that backwards.
That, if we did the magazine, those deadlines and those things would have to be there.
Right.
We have to put the same deadline in, and I think the mayor's message is a very important thing that should be
in here.
It should be in there,
And it has been a few times.
and it has been a couple times, but
Let me
we,
get in there.
and talking to Heather, we can do a 2-page front and back for cheaper than what we're doing
Right,
right
and
now.
that's one reason it hasn't been. It's like, oh,
So
we filled up the back of the bill.
let's fill the front with your message, with a nice picture of you on there. Maybe we can update the picture to reflect your elderly,
Maybe with a walker or
Hey,
something.
something like
The-
that. I think that's fun. Did anybody volunteer to help me?
Steve,
with
I
content?
can help you, and
I'd be happy to.
Dave's got another comment. Or he's accepting them.
no, I do have a comment. So my comment is, you mentioned earlier that they would send the North Ogden connections to Pleasant View City if we didn't do a Pleasant View connection.
Yep.
My question is, how can they afford to do that and not do ours? It doesn't make any sense to me that they wouldn't.
Well, here's, it's not that cost, it's the cost to change the content of the first 6 pages to be Pleasant Views. That's what they've been doing.
Yeah, my bet is, I haven't looked at a North Ogden connection, but I bet there's 3 pages in that are different between the two. And that's my guess.
They told me they have the first 6 pages is North Ogden's, and we would have our, I'm good either way. It's just, I'm not trying to sell them. I just, like I said, I do not want to make a step backwards. If we're going to do this, if this is going to be our official way of we're contacting then we need to up our game.
we totally can do that and make it available for those residents who don't get on social media and Facebook and have it, you know, they can
We
sign up,
can do
they
that.
can get it through the email, they can, in the office, and we can also mail it. Heather says that she has the capability to get the addresses from the county, just like the connection does, and mass mail that maybe if we
We
decide
send it out
to.
right now, every time, every month, we're sending it
Yeah.
out now.
Even to people who don't request it and also have express bill pay, they can request their newsletter
Absolutely.
without it.
That
And
is
so,
being done right now.
Yeah.
Or even if you don't get a water bill.
You know,
so I just agree with Steve. Let's put the mayor's message. Let's put a few things on the back that we need updates for events, for whoever, you know, Public Works, if you need to have things like that, or, you know, just upcoming news that people look at, and have it mirror on the Facebook page and on the city's website and on the email. And you've got 4 avenues right there that people have an opportunity for all different genres to be able to read the content for the city.
I was going to say a lateral benefit of collecting all the information from the different entities is that we can just put it easily onto the website from there, or the Facebook page, because we already have the information collected by our deadline. It's an easy lateral move to post it to other spots. So.
All right, well, let's do this and let's revisit it. Not necessarily the Connection magazine, but let's revisit the newsletter in 6 months and see how it's going, and see if we.
What I'll do is
or not.
I'll ask Heather to put together like some things that she thinks might be a good idea. And we'll get some samples from, I mean, we've used the Ogden connections or whatever, not connections, the Ogden newsletter. And we'll get a few more samples and kind of send them around and talk about it and discuss how we want to move forward with our own newsletter.
Okay, great. So do we
Yeah,
have,
so do we need to continue, discontinue using connections right now? Well, we may not have an official agreement at this point, but I think it's not an official magazine, not an official publication.
I think what we
For
need
the
to
city.
do is, if you're not gonna, it is either a motion to enter into an agreement or a motion to not enter.
I'll make that motion to not enter into an agreement.
I'd like to make the motion to discontinue use of it completely at this point.
That's not on the agenda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they, as a private
do
business
that.
though, I think
Yeah, they can
they
do
have
it.
a right to send the magazine to whoever they want. We can't stop that, but we can make sure that people know that it's not an official publication.
Okay, there was a motion by Sarah to not enter into this agreement and a second by Gibbs. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Okay. Nay. Nay. One nay, motion carries. Okay, item 4 is a closed meeting. For, Bill, do we need a closed meeting?
I don't think we have a need for a closed meeting this time.
Yay, yes. All right, other business. Chief.
A few things of interest going on in the city. Our vehicle thefts, good news, bad news. We have had 2 since we met last time. One individual woke up with a text from his bank saying that $600 had been charged on his credit card during the night. And he went out to look at his unlocked vehicle, his wallet and keys in it, discovered his vehicle was gone.
It's hard to have sympathies.
You know, I think we beat this thing to death on don't leave your keys in your car. And everyone that has their car said, I should have known better. I've read some stuff from the police department that says not to do this.
We read in the newsletter.
Car been stolen without the keys in it.
No. And last Sunday night, we had one stolen from the trailer park. Somebody noticed a car pull up, a lot of kids get out, run through the neighborhoods. A car wasn't seen taken. A short time later, about 4 a.m., Ogden City got in a high-speed chase with a stolen car out of Pleasant View that had not been reported stolen yet. Good news is that vehicle was finally stopped. 3 of the 4 people were apprehended. The driver got away, but we know who the driver is. And that driver lives in the vicinity where we have located 2 stolen vehicles in Ogden. Another good part of this is they've been doing this also in Davis County and Weber County. Davis County's put a lot of effort into this, Ogden City, some of the smaller cities we have. There was a number of people arrested that have been tied to these vehicle thefts and burglaries. One of which was the individual we saw on the video that carried the gun. That individual was 17 years old and was arrested on multiple felonies last week. So that's good. We are thinning these guys out a little bit, but we did have one as recent as last Sunday night. Also last week, an individual was picked up by a Pleasant View resident hitchhiking in Willard. This individual was carrying a floor jack and electric saw. And the individual gave him a ride to Pleasant View. At what time conversation took place. When the vehicle slowed down, this individual actually jumped out of a moving vehicle, leaving this property in the Pleasant View residence vehicle, took off running down through the orchards. So we responded and found out, we'd looked all over for him, had a good description of him. Found out the suspect matching that description was on a bicycle westbound on 2700 North. So what he had done after he rolled out of this moving vehicle was get into a garage in the orchard, steal a bicycle, and was now fleeing on a bicycle. And it was quite the high-speed rodeo going down 2700 with 3 police cars up, trying to catch a bicycle. But we did get him. We outmaneuvered him. He crashed on the bike. We did get him. We were able to arrest him for a felony burglary and a theft out of Pleasant View. And we're still awaiting Box Elder County to tell us where these alleged stolen tools came from. So we're hopping. We're out there. We're getting to the point where 1 and 2 officers is really spreading ourselves thin. But we're making it work. The smoke shop or the vape shop, I don't know if you're aware of that, on 2700 by the Shell station. Last weekend it was burglarized. Somebody broke in the back door of that, took money out of the cash register, and been assigned to our investigations, but there's no real suspects on that. For whatever reason, we're getting a lot of intoxicated people, a lot of overdose, people on drugs. I don't know if it's because of the epidemic or the
Psychiatrics too.
Pardon me?
Psychiatrics too.
Oh yeah, and psychiatrics. Yeah, we're doing a psychiatric, maybe 2 or 3 a week. The family fights involving intoxication or drugs is at an all-time high. We used to get a few of these a month. Now we're getting several a week. The medic guys know it. We know it. And because of the economy, we're seeing this ultra disrespect for law enforcement. It's real concerning because our officers are being challenged. They all say, well, I don't have to do this, I don't have to do that. You can't arrest me, go ahead, I'll sue you. They antagonize the officers, trying to get a physical confrontation. The old days of one officer responding to these kind of calls is over. Sometimes you get 2 and 3 guys there and still getting a pretty good brawl. So later date, later time, later budget, we'll discuss manpower issues. But I just want you to know that issue is on the horizon. I don't want these guys hurt. I've been a cop forever, and what we've seen in the last year is very, very disturbing. Other than that, a lot of routine stuff as we do in between the violent calls. And of course, we spent the day-to-day with power lines and trees down and citizen assist, that type of thing. And we're just absolutely overwhelmed with them, along with Public Works and the fire department.
Crazy day today. It's not,
And that's about it.
you haven't been a cop forever, but you did train Wyatt Earp.
When Chief Brigham Young hired me, he told me,
We appreciate our police department, especially our chief. He's a great leader. In troubling times, he's a good man to have at the helm there. Because if they are troubling times, hopefully the world will get back to normal all the way around. I'm not just talking coronavirus, I'm talking about this civil unrest nonsense. Disrespect for law enforcement has got to come to an end. All right, I'll get off my soapbox. Bill.
That's a great soapbox to be on, and you are not alone in that. Our men and women and the first responders, especially our police officers, deserve our respect and deference because they stand between us and chaos. And I second everything that's been said. We really need and appreciate and love these guys, and we sleep better at night because they're out there keeping watch. So I'm grateful for that. Couple of things really quick. Next week, 1 week from tonight at 6 o'clock, we will have a workshop, a joint workshop with the Planning Commission. I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, but I just want to reiterate. We will be having the State Property Rights Ombudsman with us virtually. And so please mark your calendars for that evening. It's 1 week from tonight, Tuesday, the 15th at 6 p.m. And it will be the State Property Rights Ombudsman. He does it. This is not Brent Bateman. He's gone on to other things. This is Jordan Cullimore. He is also an attorney and has worked with Brent Bateman for years. Sarah can vouch for him. He's a really good guy. So look forward to that. It's again a land use kind of a thing, and it will be related to our economic development and other efforts that we're going on in the city. And so please do plan to attend that if at all possible. The other thing is that the week following, which is the week that is the week of the 21st through the 25th, there is a league conference in connection with the Planners Association group for the state of Utah. They're doing a joint conference that week, and Jill and I will be attending that. And we wanted to extend the invitation. I sent you an email just before, about an hour, 2 hours ago about that. So please do check your emails and let us know as soon as possible if you're interested in attending. It's not like a in-person live event where you have to, be present to win, or, there's an expense and things like that. That way, it's actually at a much reduced cost. So if you're interested at all in attending some or all of that, please let us know.
Bill?
Yeah.
So are they just online all day long for those days?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So Jill and I will, I'm not sure if Jill and I will plan on being in the office those days. We might go other places to be not distracted and focus on the learning and the training that's going on, but we'll work that out between the two of us. And that's it.
Okay, great. Laurie?
Nothing.
Ann?
Yeah, I just wanted to let everyone know that there's an EDC Utah meeting tomorrow at 10. I'm going to try and jump on there for that call tomorrow. The one they did last month was really good. Had a lot of good ideas for attracting businesses. So I'll hop in there and see what I got, and be happy to share what I learned tomorrow with the rest of you next time we meet. So that is all I've got for tonight.
Great. Kevin?
I usually don't have anything, but tonight I do.
Okay.
I just want to, I've sat pretty quiet tonight and thought about what's happened and what we've listened to. And I just want to say how good it is to be in a community where everyone helped everybody. Today was remarkable. And it didn't matter where you went. Everybody had pine sap on them from helping each other. And it was really, really a remarkable thing to witness. People that we didn't even know stopped and helped us. And we do have a really big mess to clean up. The city does, because we opened up that lot down there and it is full of stuff. We're gonna have to figure out what to do with that. And I'm sure that Tyson will have some ideas, but that's the first thing. Just wanted to say thank you to the citizens of Pleasant View for being such good people. Second, just a reminder, Mayor mentioned it, and Sarah talked a little bit about it, but whether we think we represent the city council or we don't, we do. And I just want to make that really clear. Everything that we do or say, because we're on the city council, whether we mean for it to be personal or not, because we are who we are, people think that we represent the city no matter where we're at or what we're doing. So,
So my wife won't let me flip anybody off anymore.
that's right. We're lucky enough that we have a council who all are passionate about what they do. Their heart's in the right place. But I just think we need to be super careful about surveys and our personal opinions sometimes are misread. And so I just would urge all of us collectively, I'm not going to pick on any one person, but collectively as a council, I think we need to be careful. And just keep in mind that we represent the city, whether what we say is of a personal nature or not, because of the position we hold, we, in the eyes of many, represent the city. So please just keep that in mind as we go about our daily business. I know everyone's heart's in the right place. We love what we're doing, and I thank each one of you for being such good council members, but I just think we need to be really mindful of that, because we do represent the city, even in our personal lives. So thank you.
Okay. No getting away from it. Absolutely right. Anything else? Thank you, man. Yes, it's sir.
Okay, is it still an echo? I don't know if it's an echo.
We get to hear
No.
Sarah twice.
So, lucky you. Anyway, no, I was just going to remind you guys about, there's 2 more food truck events. One this coming Monday, and then I think it's the 28th of September. And so, and then after September, those will be done. And Elsa and I have been working on getting ready for the Big Fat Pumpkin Palooza on October 10th. And that will be from 4 to 8. And she's going to get you city council involved like last time and do lots of, games safely and the ways that we can do it and still be within the law with the health department and still have lots of fun with pumpkins and food trucks, and it will be a good time. So hopefully you guys will all spread the word and make sure everybody knows about it, and we'll make sure that we put it in the newsletter again and out on social media too. So
Sarah, what's that again?
October 10th. From 4 to 8. The games will be from 4 to 7, but we're allowing the food trucks to stay till 8. Sunset on that day is 7 o'clock, so the last hour will be a little bit dark, but it was a lot of fun last year. It was super cold, but we still had a great turnout, even though it was super duper cold. So, and I did have some questions of people wanting to know how long the green waste facility would be available and how, are there kind of, we haven't set times on when they're allowed to drop off their debris, but I said you should be respectful of the HOA there and not go all night long. And why would you? Because it's hard to clean up things in the dark unless you have a really, really big emergency to get, things. But is there something that you want me to let people know as far as how long it will be available and maybe certain kind of operating hours?
Yeah, we'll push that out tomorrow. We got a staff meeting tomorrow. We're going to talk about that very thing and some other stuff about how we're going to do, what we're going to do with it. But like Kevin mentioned, we got a big pile of stuff.
Last time we lit it up in flames and we made the news. It was super fun.
And we may not do that this time. We haven't ruled it out, but we may not do that this time.
If we warn them, and then actually,
I talked to some residents down there, and they, they were very hostile. They and quite frankly, it's like, what's your plans? I want to know what your plans are. And it's like, we don't have any plans yet. The plans is to collect all this stuff here, give the residents a place to put all this stuff that this disaster has generated, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do with it.
We worked through it last time, burning, and it was really, they made a lot more big of a deal than it really, really was, and it worked out just fine. So
maybe if
anyway,
we'll see.
okie dokie.
By the adjacent property, maybe we'll just push it all over there for about 100 yards away and then burn it. And there's lots of things that can figure out. I don't know.
But also
We'll
definitely
talk, and then we'll push out as far as how long it'll be open, and
Right.
if tomorrow generates. I mean, I kind of want to wait and see what this big windstorm tonight's going to do.
Okay.
It could be a repeat. It could be anticlimactic. Don't know.
Well, if there's
I
something
would
that
think at the end of the week, and that's probably about it. Maybe Saturday.
if there's something you want me to say in specific on
But
Facebook or
yeah,
push it out,
we'll
then
push something out.
okay. And absolutely, and I if there's something first, I will absolutely, check with the council and the mayor and just say, hey, if there's something, if I'm going to ask a question or whatever else, I can see why people would think that it was an official, but I made it clear, at least on my part, that it was not official, but I also understand what Kevin's saying as well. And so I'll be considerate of all sides.
Okay. Dave.
I don't have anything tonight.
All righty. Steve.
Well, I'd like to echo everything, especially what Kevin said about, I love America. I love the sense of community. And I made several trips to our makeshift depository, and it was just wonderful that people, as I helped unload somebody else's trailer, and they're saying, we've got 17 more coming after this. We have a whole group pushing and doing. I mean, that's what America is about. That's what Pleasant View is about. And it just, wasn't Democrat, wasn't Republican. It was just people helping people. I love that sense of community that's represented there. And the city, Tyson, the guys were out, going around with the trucks today, just making sure that everybody was good, opening roads. And even though it's a horrible, horrible thing, and I still have a lot of work to do, and I'm hoping I'm gonna be able to put some of that stuff in Saturday.
Yeah, I think we.
So, but anyway, I love it, and it's a good feeling when we can come together in this horrible time of really a tragic time, and it's unprecedented, really. I think it's even worse than the last big windstorm that we had, which was horrible. These trees that was down, that's what happened.
Yeah, like I said, I drove around the city and it's hard to find a house that was not affected. So, I'd like to just publicly thank North Ogden City. They reached out to me this morning just after we opened that up. It's funny, we opened it up and man, it was like people were calling there. And they called me and said that they would let us use their pit today and tomorrow. They wouldn't be checking any IDs or anything. They said, welcome to bring anything over there. I think, I know some people, my own father took some stuff over there. So it was used a little bit, but I don't know. I think based on what I saw down on 1000 West. And here's the thing, a lot of people just automatically started heading there. It's like, how did you hear about this? And they're like, oh, well, this is where we brought it last time. So I don't know. We'll have to kind of.
A lot of them saw that on social media when you asked me to share that. So.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's really all I had. Just really thank the Tyson's crew, Tyson and his crew. Boy, they were just on top of things. My wife's like, I've never seen a snowplow plowing trees before. And they were out using the snowplow to clear off some of the streets and that. Didn't work at my daughter-in-law's or my daughter and my son-in-law's. Their tree was too big, but several hours later they cut it off and hauled it away, just right there. So the sidewalk and the street was cleared. They're down working, my family's down there working on it right now as we speak. So lots everywhere. If you did drive around the city, you might want to still got a little bit of light. You might want to just go on a little tour and see. It's hard to find a place that wasn't affected.
I'd just like to compliment the youth of our community. Talked to some high school kids today with school out, asked what they were doing. They said they were driving around looking for people to help to clean up their yards. There'd be a carload of 3 or 4 kids who I naturally, as a cop, thinking, what are they up to? But these good kids are out looking for somebody to help clean up their yard. And that's a testament to the good people of this community and the youth of this community.
Absolutely. Yeah, what a great community. Everybody helping everybody down there. I saw, it's a good thing school was out. There were a lot of teenagers out there just working their tails off. It's wonderful to see it all together. Yeah, families, entire families. I know that the church of the Latter-day Saint Church sent out a message to all their members to go pick peaches or pick them off the ground. Most of them have been knocked off, and they said if you can delay your own mess, would you come and help us? So I'm sure there are still plenty of messes out there that are going to be worked on tomorrow and Thursday. And so I said, I think we have a plan on keeping it open at least through Saturday. It takes somebody down there to monitor it. So that's something we gotta figure out. Maybe we'll do particular hours, but we have staff meeting first thing in the morning. We'll work out those details. And Sarah, I'll push it out to you.
As long as we don't get mattresses or something stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
Just junk drop off.
The only maybe disturbing thing about what I saw, I mean, I live real close right there, but we had a lot of commercial tree people dumping their stuff there. I'm not sure if that's like really acceptable, but there was a lot of them going on, and it may have been they were just out there too. I don't know.
I talked to one commercial truck, and that was his father. They were cleaning up a neighborhood, just one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what I say.
I had two neighbors who run that type of business who were just doing it in the neighborhood, who were taking it down there. They weren't making a profit.
I think we don't want to turn it into
Yeah, we don't want to turn it into a free dump, right? So, was it the city's equipment that were down there today? The guys on the backhoe and front end loaders and stuff? They were doing a great job. That's all I can say.
I'll make the motion, Mayor, if you're done.
Yeah. Got somebody
I'll second
wanted
it. Steve will measure.
to take my tree out that's laying like that. So, sure.
Well,
Yeah, the mayor did never make it to his own yard, by the way. One last thing. Yeah, so I didn't. Anybody that's willing to help, meet you over there after the meeting.
you need some time.
Yeah, he does.
Any change?
Joe Cottom's can take it up for me. I'm gonna say that would be awesome. Do I have a motion to adjourn then?
So made.
Second.
Thank you, everyone.
Ever say aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, we're adjourned.
Mayor?
I think your trees, I want to quite